Welcome to While We Were Distracted, the podcast where we explore topics that often get overshadowed in the rush of daily life.
Today we're analyzing what really feels like a strategic blueprint for the future of civilization.
It's pretty incredible source material. We've got key insights and major projections from a recent U.S.-Saudi forum.
And not just from anyone. We're talking about two titans who are right now driving this intelligence age, Elon Musk and Jensen Huang.
That context is everything. I mean, this forum signaled a huge strategic alliance, and it's explicitly dedicated to shifting the global economic focus.
Shifting from what to what?
Well, we're moving out of the energy age, which, fueled the whole industrial revolution, and fully into what they're calling the intelligence age.
So our mission for you today is to basically give you the ultimate shortcut to getting up to speed on this shift.
Exactly. We're unpacking the first order, thinking of these leaders on the biggest questions. Things like massive shifts in wealth, what kind of infrastructure we need for AI,
And this one is wild even, where these incredibly powerful computers should physically live. On Earth or somewhere else.
We've really distilled their foundational concepts. For Musk, it all comes down to a philosophy of creation, not just disruption.
And for Huang?
For Huang, the concept underpinning all of this growth is, it's actually pretty simple. AI is infrastructure.
Okay, let's start with Musk's creation philosophy, because he really hammers this point that disruption is just too small a word.
He does. He argues that disruption, just means changing an existing market.
Like a new taxi app or something.
Exactly. Creation, on the other hand, means building something that fundamentally did not exist before. It's about solving a problem from first principles.
What are the concrete examples he uses?
Well, take SpaceX. Before they came along, there were no reusable orbital rockets, period. To make space travel truly viable, you have to create reusability. The cost reduction is the entire game.
Okay, that makes sense.
And it's the same with Tesla. When they started, you just couldn't buy a compelling, high-range, affordable electric car. It didn't exist. So they created that category. They didn't just disrupt Ford or GM.
So, if creation is the mandate, what does he see as the biggest creation project that's on the horizon right now?
Humanoid robots, without hesitation.
Really?
Yeah, and he makes this bold, almost provocative claim. He says that right now, there are no useful humanoid robots.
Just gimmicks.
Essentially, proof-of-concept gimmicks. But he insists that Tesla will be the one to pioneer the first truly functional, actually useful versions.
And his projection for that market is, I'm guessing it's not small.
Not at all. He claims humanoid robots will become the single biggest industry and product ever.
Bigger than cell phones.
Bigger than cell phones, bigger than cars.
Yeah.
He thinks the utility will be so universal that you, the listener, will want one. A personal assistant, a worker. A kind of modern R2-D2.
But this isn't just about selling a cool gadget. This connects directly to his vision for the global economy for ending scarcity. This is where it gets really ambitious.
That's the key connection. Musk asserts that AI and humanoid robotics are the only realistic way to fundamentally solve our big, universal material problems.
He makes the claim that they will. What was it?
That they will actually eliminate poverty by creating abundance.
How? What's the mechanism there?
The mechanism he outlines is basically total automation of labor. This leads to goods and services becoming ultra-low cost because you've essentially removed human input as the limiting factor in all production.
That sounds utopian, and honestly, it's a massive claim. What about the transition, the huge displacement of labor and wealth that would have to happen first?
And that transition is the hardest part, and it's less defined in his talks. Musk's focus is on getting to that abundant future as fast as possible, arguing that delaying it just prolongs suffering.
So create the solution first and manage the transition as it happens.
Pretty much. But he's very clear. The only path to universal wealth is creating a nearly infinite amount of useful labor through robotics. Tesla will pioneer it, and then others will have to follow.
Okay, so that creation mindset defines the end goal. But to create at that kind of scale, you need a massive foundational shift in the technology itself.
Which is exactly where Jensen Huang steps in. He sees AI as this new foundational infrastructure.
And he draws a really clear parallel, right?
A direct one. Just as oil was the energy source that powered the industrial economy through refineries, generative AI is the knowledge source that powers the intelligence economy through AI factories.
Which is why we're seeing the strategic pivot from countries like Saudi Arabia moving from oil refineries to computational AI factories.
Precisely. But the really profound change he talks about is what AI does to computer science itself. He says we're moving from retrieval computing to generative computing.
Okay, break that down for us. What does that change actually look like?
So retrieval-based computing is the world we've all lived in for decades. Think of it like a giant digital library. The content is pre-built, somebody wrote the story, somebody designed the ad.
And the computer just finds it for you.
Exactly. Systems just retrieve the right static pre-existing version when you ask. It's all about efficiently delivering content that's already known. It's passive.
And generative computing is the opposite.
It's dynamic. It means the software and the content are created in real time. It's unique every single time based on your prompt, your context, the circumstance. You aren't pulling up a pre-written story. You are prompting a self-writing encyclopedia that tailors its output to your immediate need.
And that's the why behind needing hundreds of these massive global AI factories, this need for real-time, unique generation.
That's it. If every user everywhere is generating unique, intelligent content on the fly, whether it's an answer from Grok or a simulation for a new drug, you need an enormous, globally distributed amount of compute power to process that intelligence instantly.
That brings us to the question everyone is asking. What happens to our jobs? We have these two visions from our sources, and they seem almost contradictory.
Right, you have Musk's utopian long-term prediction and Huang's very pragmatic near-term reality.
Let's start with Musk's long-term vision. We're talking 10 to 20 years out.
He suggests work will become fundamentally optional. It becomes a hobby, like playing a video game or growing vegetables in your garden, something you do for personal satisfaction, not out of necessity.
And he takes that idea even further, doesn't he? Beyond just work.
Oh, yeah. If this AI and robotics revolution continues at its current pace, Musk predicts that currency itself will eventually stop being relevant.
Because the abundance of goods just makes money meaningless.
Exactly. The constraints shift away from money and back to fundamental physics. Usable power, so electricity, and mass, the physical ability to assemble things.
It's hard to even imagine. If work is a hobby, what does success even look like anymore? The elimination of currency feels like pure science fiction.
He frames it as elimination, yeah. The end of scarcity tied to labor.
Yeah.
But you raise a good point. Maybe it's better to think of it as a transition to a true resource-based economy where value is just tracked by available energy and matter.
Okay, now let's contrast that with Huang's view. His picture is much more immediate. He says your job will change, but will probably just be busier.
And that's the near-term reality. Everyone's job will evolve, and our productivity is going to surge because AI will handle all the boring, repetitive stuff.
But for innovators, for people like Musk and Huang themselves, they'll actually get busier.
That's the prediction. Increased productivity just means they can finally start tackling the huge backlog of ideas and projects that were just too time-consuming before.
This gets to the core question then. Does AI eliminate jobs or just change the work we do?
And Huang has a brilliant example for that. Radiology.
Right. The early thinking was that radiologists would be the first to go.
It was the conventional wisdom, yeah. Automated AI image analysis would make them obsolete. But the reality was the complete opposite. AI-driven diagnostic tools have led to more radiologists being hired globally.
Why?
Yeah.
What caused that complete reversal?
Because the goal of a radiologist isn't just to look at an image. It's to provide a complex diagnosis and consult with a patient. AI dramatically increased their throughput and accuracy. It let them study more images, more modalities, and take on more business from around the world.
So their core mission expanded instead of shrinking.
Exactly. It's a strong case for the idea that humanity always manages to shift to what he calls new value pools when technology makes us more productive.
Speaking of acceleration, the source material had some incredible examples of AI speeding up research that used to take decades.
These stories really show the tangible results of having these AI factories available right now. Take the work of Professor Omar Yaki. He's an academic who used AI accelerators to create new kinds of chemistry.
Specifically, metal organic frameworks, or MOFs. What are those?
Think of them as crystalline sponges, but designed with these ultra-precise nanometer-scale pores, a true molecular sieve. The AI allowed him to rapidly model these structures to capture specific things.
Like what?
Like pulling clean water directly out of the air or efficiently capturing carbon dioxide.
And the second story was even smaller scale.
Right, it involved creating a nanobot, a machine that's just 500 by 1,000 nanometers.
Unbelievably small.
And it was designed by using AI to optimize gene editing systems, specifically with CRISPR technology, to target diseases like sickle cell. In both cases, the core science was decades old, but AI was the catalyst that accelerated it to a usable scale in months, not years.
And to support this kind of work, the infrastructure deals being announced are just. The scale is unprecedented.
The commitment is historic. We're talking about XAI, Musk's AI company, collaborating with Saudi Arabia on a 500-megawatt AI compute project.
500 megawatts. To put that in perspective.
That's roughly the power consumption of a medium-sized American city, and that's all just for AI compute.
And Nvidia isn't just selling chips, they're building entire digital ecosystems for learning.
Exactly. They're applying Omniverse, which is this physically based digital twin world. Robots, including these future humanoids, can learn how to be functional and obey physics inside this digital world before they're deployed in a real factory.
That's incredible.
And they're also building supercomputers there, specifically to simulate quantum computers and handle quantum error correction.
Why do you need so much classical computing for quantum?
Because quantum computing is incredibly delicate, very prone to error. You need huge amounts of fast classical computation just to monitor and correct those errors in real time. It's about managing that fragile quantum state.
All this brings us to the most ambitious idea discussed. Moving AI compute off-world. AI in space.
Musk argues this isn't optional. He says it's inevitable if civilization is going to continue to scale up.
To reach what he calls a Kardashev Type 2 scale civilization.
Right, which means a civilization that can use a large fraction of its star's energy. To do that, he says, you have to have solar-powered AI satellites in deep space.
Why is building this kind of infrastructure on Earth eventually impossible?
It's an energy and logistics problem. The Earth only gets about 2 billionths of the sun's total energy output. The entire U.S. uses about 460 gigawatts per year. If you want to build 300 gigawatts of just AI compute,
Which he argues we'll need.
you'd be consuming 2/3 of the entire U.S. annual electricity production. That's, as he puts it, very difficult. A terawatt a year. He says that's impossible on Earth.
And this is where the physics of space actually becomes a huge economic advantage. The big problem on Earth is cooling, right?
That's the real advantage. On Earth, a high-performance AI rack might weigh 2 tons, and almost all of that weight, like 1.95 tons, is just for cooling.
Wow.
In space, you cool things with passive radiative heat rejection, so the hardware becomes much lighter and much simpler.
Plus you get continuous solar power, so you don't need massive batteries.
Absolutely. You eliminate that whole storage requirement. And the solar panels themselves get cheaper because you don't need heavy glass or framing to protect them from weather.
So what's his final prediction on this?
He predicts that within just 5 years, the lowest cost way to do large-scale AI compute will be with solar-powered AI satellites orbiting Earth.
Wow. So, we've really covered an incredible knowledge shift today. We've gone from Musk's creation philosophy to Huang's generative intelligence, all the way to launching AI factories into orbit.
Yeah, we've gone from thinking about small productivity improvements to thinking about eliminating poverty and becoming a cosmic-scale civilization.
This deep dive really shows the strategic direction, doesn't it? This whole alliance is about accelerating that shift from the energy age to the intelligence age.
And it's being fueled by pioneers who are creating totally new technologies and, with them, entirely new economies.
So we'll leave you with this. We heard Musk predict that in the long term, currency will become irrelevant and our constraints will shift to just power and mass.
So if money stops being the core constraint in your life, and work might soon become a choice, not a necessity.
How would you restructure your personal goals and your time starting today? That's something fascinating to mull over as we move deeper into the intelligence age.
Don't forget to like and subscribe for the next episode on While We Were Distracted.